Hey everybody. So we are interrupting the previously scheduled home stories because we have, I guess what I would call, I don't want to say a special announcement because it ain't special.
An interruption
We have an interruption.
to our series.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to make the point that we've pre-recorded most of home stories. So they're still kind of in the editing phase. We're still going to release those. So with what we're going to share right now, keep in mind when you watch the next episodes that they were recorded weeks ago.
Yeah. So we may say things that don't apply
Anymore. Now you might be wondering, what are you even talking about? What wouldn't apply? So we have a bit of sad news. And that is that as of this last Monday, we were notified that the sellers of the house that we were interested in have decided to withdraw the purchase agreement and have decided to take their house off the market. As such, that means that we will not be moving into their house because I don't think they want us living with them. So we're going to stay here for a while. We've told some friends and family, gave them a heads up, the ones that have kind of been checking in on us every other day or so on how things are going. And they, of course, know. But we've, of course, told other people because our house was for sale. So pretty much everyone knows we were planning on moving. It's not an ideal situation by any stretch.
No.
But we did go look at another house kind of as a Hail Mary. And it didn't really fit our needs at all, and it's really hard to go court a new house when you were just heartbroken.
Yeah. In our mind, we had already moved into the other house, and we already had plans for it. We already had like our hearts into it already. So I feel like we're kind of grieving that. It's tough because we really thought like we were going to be moving there very quickly. We were literally like a day away from setting a closing date.
Yep.
So we were like 95% of the way into this. Like at that point, you feel pretty safe. You want to tell everybody, and I guess we got ahead of ourselves, but normally something like this wouldn't happen. It's very unusual, and it was thankfully nothing on our end that we did wrong. The timing of it for all the other parties, it just didn't line up right. So
what I'll say is this. I'll say that I believe that we did everything in our power to make the process move forward in any way that it could. I'm not going to get into the details of much, but I'll say that we went above and beyond in some areas to try to come up with something. Granted, it was in the final hour, but that's because that's kind of when we knew. I don't want to dive into the details on the sellers. I don't want to dive into the details on the buyer that we had lined up. I think all I'm going to say is that I feel like this was probably a sign that it wasn't time, because it didn't happen, obviously. We definitely learned a lot, and we kind of have a game plan for what the potential next step in the future would be or could be. Also, with that said, we don't have solid plans with that yet either. We know that we're probably going to stick around here for at least another year. Going through that process was exhausting. It was a lot of work, both mentally and physically. Mentally, just prepping ourselves, as you just said, right? We were really detaching ourselves from this house to prepare ourselves for the next one. So we kind of have to reset ourselves. The physically is just, it was a lot of work to even get this far.
yeah.
With this house, it was a lot of, not necessarily cleanup, but there were things from like the inspection, a couple small things we had to fix.
But we
moving.
literally had our stuff packed up for almost two solid months.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to bring all that back in. So those of you that caught the garage episode, it was packed. It's more packed now. Actually, I had to get to the freezer today. I had to walk out of the garage and back in the garage to get to the freezer, which is really just out the door normally. So it's packed.
I put some stuff back up on the walls though, so it felt like it was home again and not just a place we were being until that was kind of tough for me, because that really hit that, like, this isn't happening. And I feel like we have some bitterness still with what's going on, because there's just, I feel like there's a lot of situations and a lot of people we could be pointing fingers at for this.
Right.
But
at the end of the day,
we are fortunate enough to still have our home.
we didn't sell it and then lost the house.
We didn't sell it and become homeless or anything like that, but our house is no longer for sale now either.
Actually, officially, it's not yet.
No.
Soon.
Well, anyways, we're not going to have anyone buy our house yet because we need to live here. So whatever our next steps are, I think we are just going to kind of take everything off the radar for now. I think that's the best thing we can do, because you guys know how crazy it can be to just get into something, and when we get into something, and it kind of consumes us. So
it takes us a long time to make a decision, but when we make that decision, we're all in.
All in.
So, next steps. Like I said, we decided we're gonna stay here probably at least a year. For multiple reasons. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into the details of anything that has happened up to this point or what our game plan might be. Just know that we're probably gonna be here another year. At some point, we are going to have to look for another house. All the reasons that we've said in past videos and all of that.
Things haven't changed.
Things have not changed.
We still need those things.
Yeah, we're going to come up with some creative ways to, specifically I think about Seth. He needs his own space, even if it's not a bedroom, just someplace. So we're going to do our best to kind of give him his space. He's getting older and it happens. He needs it. So things like that. We're gonna find nice stopgaps, but ultimately we do need to move to something. Whether that's finding another house, building a house, which we've thought about but shied away from for many reasons. Whatever it is, in a year we'll start really thinking about it again, and then come up with a plan.
Yeah.
So that all said, a lot of you have reached out and asked lately how we're doing, or how things are going, and we kind of shed the light on the news. So I will say that we've gotten a lot of support from friends and family, because they were all bought into the idea of that's what was going to happen as well, and they share our heartbreak, and we do appreciate that, as hard as that is. I'll say one more note as far as, so I mentioned earlier that we're going to keep the series going. We actually still need to record like 3 more videos. So I think we're still going to record those, because even though we're not moving, and yes, of course, in the videos we've made comments about like that next house and things like that, I think the premise of the videos is still really cool. Going through, talking about what this house has meant to us, and now, I mean, still means to us, of course, but
regardless, we will leave here at some point, so we'll want those memories.
It's a nice snapshot. So we're going to keep doing that. I think we probably have about 5 or 6 more episodes of that lined up, and then we'll probably take a small break, and then we came up with a bunch of really cool ideas. So once we're through home stories, we're gonna do some fun things.
I mean, we could throw those in the middle too.
We could, yeah, we could break it up now that we're not in a hurry, because our goal was to finish the series before we moved,
right?
Which will happen for sure now. So Joy came up with a cool idea a couple weeks ago, and there are a couple ideas that we've tossed around on this channel before about doing, so we are going to do those. So maybe we'll sprinkle in it, we'll see. But that all said, thank you guys for watching and for supporting us, even if it's just through views or, you know, the occasional message or something to see how we're doing, or a comment, a like, a subscribe, a follow. I mean, any of that.
A shout out.
A shout out. Share the video. I mean, all that means the world to us. So we just want to give you guys that update, and we'll catch you in the next video.